Hello reptile friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is India, aka Anacondrac, but in today's video we're not talking about reptiles, we're talking about our feline friends and their diets. So before we started the video I thought I would introduce you to Safi, my lovely 9-year-old tortoiseshell. She's so lovely and fluffy. Yeah, aren't you? She's a bit camera shy, but that's okay. So even though Safi looks very cute and cuddly, which she definitely is, she's an expertly evolved natural predator. She is a carnivore able of hunting and killing and eating her own prey. Everything about her has evolved over millions of years to eat meat and to get as much nutrition as possible from eating meat. There you go, you can go now. However, I actually found out from Twitter this week that there's actually a hashtag vegan cats, and that people are actually feeding their cats and their dogs too a completely plant-based diet. So is it just me who remembers that vegan girl who forced her fennec fox to go vegan? That went viral quite a while ago when the fox, Jumanji, was photographed and posted on Instagram, and people started to comment saying that he looked really malnourished. His owner, a vlogger called Sonia, insisted that his vegan diet was fine and that he was getting all the nutrients he needed. She also said that his blindness, his convulsions that he was getting, and also the fact that a lot of his fur was dropping out in some kind of weird skin condition, she said that was all completely unrelated to the vegan diet, but people on the internet were not so sure. There was also a tiny kitten that made headlines a couple of years ago when it was hospitalised after becoming malnourished from its vegan diet. Its owners have been feeding it a combination of rice milk, pasta and potatoes, which is definitely not enough for any cat to live on, let alone a little kitten who's just trying to grow up and use all of its energy. It needs all of its nutrition to put into growing, and it couldn't do that obviously from potatoes and pasta. Like, there's no protein in that, it's just all carbs. No, completely wrong. Anyway, after that happened, the veterinary hospital actually issued a statement warning pet owners of the dangers of forcing ideologies on their pets. So I don't actually think that I have mentioned this in any videos, but I am actually vegan. I have been for a little while. However, I own quite a number of pets and none of them are on vegan diets. They're all eating what they were naturally designed to eat. So I was really shocked this week on Twitter when I did discover that people were feeding their pet cats a completely plant-based diet, considering cats are just born carnivores. Everything about their body is born to hunt and digest meat. So why are vegans doing this? And that's what this video is going to be talking about, because there is not just one simple answer to that question. Some vegans would like to eliminate meat from their pets' diet due to their own thoughts and concerns about the meat industry. Undoubtedly, billions of animals every year are slaughtered for both the use in the food industry and also the pet food industry, so I can see why that is troubling for vegans. So if you do own a cat or any pet really and you are feeding it a meat diet, you are contributing to this problem, unfortunately. So I think there is a lot of kind of controversy within the vegan community about whether or not people who own animals that eat meat are classed as vegans, because they're still contributing to animals getting killed by feeding their pets meat. If you have a cat and you let it outside, its instinct is going to tell it to hunt. That's just what they do. It's in their nature, it's their instinct. That's how they had to survive years and years and years ago when they weren't domesticated. When all cats were wild cats, they obviously had to provide their own food, and they would do that by hunting and killing and eating their prey. So they can't really fight their instinct. That is how their brain and their body and their very nature is programmed. That's how they are programmed to survive. I have a choice whether or not I want to cut meat products and animal products in general out of my diet. I can make the choice to only eat plant-based goods. Cats don't have that choice. Their instinct to eat meat and to hunt and to kill, that's programmed within them. They don't have the choice. They can't wake up and go, you know what, today I'm gonna prepare a nice salad. No, they wake up and they are gonna eat meat because that is what they do. That's what cats eat. So our pets don't have the power to choose. They only get what we as owners choose to give to them. My cat can't go to the supermarket or the pet shop. She can't look online about different cat foods and research which one's the best for her. She can only eat what I provide for her, so it's up to me. I have the responsibility to be a good owner and to find the best choice for her and to keep her as healthy as possible, because she's a cat. She can't do the research herself. She just eats the meat that's put out for her. And when I'm feeding Safi and I'm deciding what food to give to her, I have to put aside my own thoughts about the meat industry and about veganism, because I know that a meat diet is what's best for her, it's what her body needs to survive. So I give it to her. I buy meat cat food and I give it to her, you know? Humans have the capacity to make the ethical choice surrounding where they source their food from, whether or not they choose to eat meat. Cats don't have the capacity to do that. They can't understand that the food that they're getting is from animals that are farmed and being slaughtered. To a cat, meat is just meat. They don't have the understanding of the meat industry. They can't understand the ethical choices that would make a human be vegan. In a cat's world, food is food. It's in cats' biology to eat meat and to be carnivores. If I want to make the choice of being vegan, that's fine, and I can, and I will take the responsibility of taking my supplements and having my doctor's appointments to make sure that I am doing it properly and that I'm staying healthy. By feeding cats a plant-based diet, we are going directly against their biology and against their nature. So let's go into a little bit more detail here. So cats are known as something called obligate carnivores. Obligate means by necessity. Literally, one of the definitions of obligate in the dictionary is restricted to one particularly characteristic mode of life, and that translates down to biologically essential for survival. So when you combine the words obligate and carnivore, that means that this animal needs to eat meat in order to survive. Eating meat is essential to their survival. It's in their biology. So let's get into a little bit more detail of how cats have evolved to eat meat. So probably one of the main ways that they have evolved to eat meat is their mouth, their jaws, and their teeth. So cats, as carnivores tend to do, have very prominent canine teeth. And canine teeth are used for grabbing prey and tearing at meat. Cats' jaws actually don't have the ability to chew and to do the lateral chewing motion, which is used to grind down harder plant-based foods. Plants do tend to be harder to digest, so herbivores tend to have flat molars, which make it easier to grind down the food, which in turn makes it easier to digest. Carnivores don't have the ability to chew properly. They don't have the movement in their jaw. All their jaws are designed to do is to grab and tear at meat. So herbivores, in contrast to carnivores, either usually have no canine teeth or just very, very small ones. As I said, they have the big flat molars, which are good for chewing, but they don't really have the canine teeth because they don't need to grab prey, they don't need to tear meat. Cats have a very typical carnivore digestive system with a relatively short small intestine and colon and a small cecum. The cecum is a small organ located at the end of the small intestine and the start of the colon. And the cecum's job is to release enzymes and bacteria which are useful for breaking down plant matter. Now cats and carnivores in general only need a small cecum because their diet won't usually include a large amount of plant matter. Because meat is easier to digest, they don't need a large cecum and they don't need a lot of enzymes and bacteria to help them. Whereas herbivores can have several different digestive systems if they're a ruminant herbivore, if they're non-ruminant, but generally they will have a large cecum because they need all the help that they can get in digesting the hard plant matter. They need a lot of enzymes, they need a lot of bacteria. Simply put, cats' digestive systems aren't naturally designed to eat lots of plant matter. They don't have the digestive capacity that can break down the cellulose in plant matter easily. There are certain things that cats need in order to survive and thrive as well. They need lots and lots of protein, which of course is readily available in meat. and they also need lots of vitamins, minerals and amino acids such as taurine. Now, taurine is an amino acid exclusively found in animal-based protein, so you're not going to find it naturally in plants or anything like that. Taurine is so important for cats. Not only does it help their eyesight, it also makes sure that their digestive system keeps functioning well, and is also really important for heart function as well. Taurine deficiency can take months or even years to manifest itself, but it is incredibly serious. If vegans are feeding a completely plant-based diet that doesn't have these amino acids or these minerals, these supplements artificially added in, it can cause some serious health problems, and taurine especially. Without taurine, it will lead to some serious problems. So taurine deficiency can lead to blindness in cats, it can lead to digestive issues and also the weakening of the muscles in the heart. Now, this condition is known as dilated cardiomyopathy. I probably pronounced that wrong, so I'm sorry if I did, but this is a really serious condition. If left untreated, dilated cardiomyopathy will result in heart failure and death for the cat. So like in the case of the little kitten that was just being fed pasta, potatoes and rice milk, that little kitten was getting absolutely none of the essential proteins, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, anything that he should have been getting from meat that he needed to survive. He was just getting carbohydrates. He wasn't really getting anything useful that his body needed to thrive and to grow. So no wonder he was incredibly malnourished and ended up needing treatment. These things, these amino acids, these proteins, these aren't optional. So fellow vegans, if you're gonna go down the road of feeding your cat a vegan diet, even though I really wouldn't recommend it, make sure that the food that you are giving them is a diet that includes all the taurine, includes all the amino acids, includes the vitamins and the minerals. Because if you don't include these in your cat's diet, your cat could die. Why would you want to take that risk? I'm running out of words. I'm vegan myself. I love my plant-based diet. I wouldn't force it on somebody. I wouldn't force it on an animal that didn't know. So yeah, some vegans think that the vegan pet food out there is just as healthy as the meat-based pet food that's on the market, and in some ways it could be true. A lot of processed cat foods do contain the same synthetic taurine and vitamins and minerals that the vegan food will have added to it. There is a whole different argument there, which is probably for another video, about whether or not processed cat food, whether it's vegan cat food, meat-based cat food, just processed cat food in general, is harmful to your cats and contains carcinogens and things like that. That's an argument for another video. Yeah, most people say that the best diet for your cat or your dog is a raw diet where they can get all the naturally occurring amino acids, proteins, things like that from the meat themselves, rather than having to have processed food with everything added back to it. But as I said, maybe I'll do a video on that one day if you would like to see it. But let's talk about the dangers with kibble. Now, most vegan food is in dried kibble form. Now, kibble is dangerous for cats, not just vegan kibble, but kibble in general, because if a cat eats solely kibble, it's not getting enough moisture. Now, cats in the wild will get most of their water, most of their moisture purely from their prey. So if you're feeding your cat kibble, it's not getting any moisture from its food, and that can lead to basically a state of permanent dehydration, which can cause really concentrated urine, which will cause a whole plethora of problems for the cat. Cats actually have a very low thirst response, which means that they're unlikely to just drink a lot of water normally, because in the wild they will get most from their prey. So if you see your cat starting to drink loads, that could actually be a warning sign that there's an underlying health condition, such as diabetes or some kind of renal failure. So if you do notice your cat drinking loads and loads of water, go and get it checked at the vet, because yeah, they have a very low thirst response naturally, so they shouldn't be really thirsty all the time. And that's why kibble's dangerous, not just vegan kibble, but kibble in general. But because most of the vegan pet food is kibble, that ties in. Something that's also really important to mention is that because plant-based foods actually have a higher pH, they're more alkaline, this can cause the pH of the urine to be too high, and if that happens over a large amount of time, if the pH of the urine is consistently too high for a long time, that can lead to the formation of what's known as struvite bladder crystals. So this is one of the things that can occur with feeding cats vegan diets, because the plant-based foods are more alkaline, they have a higher pH. Meat-based products tend to be more acidic and they'll have a lower pH. So if you are feeding your cat a plant-based diet, just watch out. And it is recommended that you take your cat to the vet every month to get its urine pH levels tested. So cats can digest the meat fine because it's got a lower pH. That is what they are designed. Sorry if you can hear noise, it's Spark because he's running around his enclosure headbanging. So cats are made to be able to digest meat fine. The lower pH of meat doesn't give them any issues, the pH of their urine stays fine, but the moment you start to change that and introduce more plant-based foods into their diet, that can raise the pH of the urine into danger levels, which can lead to the formation of these bladder crystals. So if you are thinking of changing your cat over to a vegan diet, it's recommended that you take your cat every 1 or 2 weeks after you start the new diet to make sure that the pH levels of the urine are fine, and then after that about once a month to check the pH of the urine. You're going to want to keep taking the cat to the vet every month and make sure everything's fine, because you don't want any issues in the long run from the diet. See, the thing about cats is they are very resilient, they are very hardy animals. If there is an issue with the diet, it may not show itself immediately. It could take months, it could take years to make an impact and to kind of show symptoms. You could switch your cat to a plant-based diet and it might be fine for a couple of years, and then it might start to show symptoms, it might become ill, whether or not it's because of like a taurine deficiency or something else. Just because your cat is fine at the moment doesn't mean that you're not harming it in the long run by changing its diet now. More studies are definitely needed over the coming years of cats that eat vegan food, who eat plant-based diets long term, because I don't think at the moment that there's enough research. There's more vegan brands, more vegan cat food popping up, and people are switching their pets onto it. I think there needs to be more research. Just because a cat looks fine now on its new vegan diet doesn't mean in 5 years it's going to be okay. It could be dead, it could have issues, but it could be fine. We just need more research. We need more research. I think there needs to be more awareness. I'm probably going to finish this video here because it's going to be long enough as it is. But yeah, I don't endorse feeding vegan diets to cats. They can't make their own choice. As humans, we can choose to be vegan. Cats can't. It's in their instinct to eat meat. What are you doing making cats vegan and putting your ideologies on your pets when it goes against their nature, it goes against their biology? It's mental to me. It's mental. Like, cats are carnivores. They are obligate carnivores. They are born, they are adapted, they are evolved to eat meat. Their teeth are pointy, they have the short cecum, like, they digest meat, that's what they do. They shouldn't be vegans. Just because a vegan diet has been formulated, it doesn't mean that's what they're meant to eat. If you have cats, feed them properly. If you are against owning a meat-eating animal, buy a rabbit. Buy something that you can feed veggies and feel no guilt about whatsoever. Don't buy a cat because you want one, but then not be able to commit to feeding it the meat that it needs. Like, I'm a vegan, I own snakes, I have to feed them rats. I don't want to eat a rat personally, I'm a vegan. I'll stick to my veggies, thank you very much, but the snakes, they don't have that choice. It's inbuilt into them to eat what they need to eat. So my rant is over. If you want to do more reading on this subject, which I highly encourage you to do, I have listed all my sources in the description box below. So yeah, please tell me what you think of vegan cat food. Should it be banned? Do you agree with it? Is your cat eating it at the moment? Let me know. I want to hear. I want to hear from you and your personal story. If you did like this video, please remember to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't had enough of me after this kind of rant video, you can also find me on Instagram now. So if you like the colour yellow and you like animals, then come and follow me. My name on there is Anachondriac, same way that it is spelt here. And remember to subscribe and press the notification button here on YouTube if you haven't already, and that way you'll never miss one of my uploads. I will see you next week for another video. Until then, bye guys!